Hello and welcome to Ryan's Recipes. Now, what we're going to do today, seeing as winter's approaching, we're going to do something a bit warming. So we're going to put together a cottage pie. So here we go. Okay, so for this recipe we have a pack of mince, some smoked cheese, large sack of potatoes, some onions, secret Madras Powder, Oregano and some Oxo Cubes. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to start by browning off my mince. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain some of the fat out of it as well. Because it's the same mince I used the other day for putting the burgers together. And it did prove to be mildly fatty. Now for this sort of dish I want something a bit leaner. So I'm just going to brown it through, drain off some of the fat, and then give us a good base to work with. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and get into my feminine side and, well, multitask. So while the mince is browning off, I'm going to get ahead. I'm going to start chopping a bit of onion. If I have enough time, I will start on the potatoes as well, and we'll go from there. That's most of bag it off. So I was trying to get most of the sort of dry, dead bit of skin off. Yeah, it's not too bad. So we've learnt that realistically I shouldn't be allowed to cut onions. I was given lessons the other day and they just confused me, is the best way of putting it. So I'm going to stick to my simple method. Come on, bite knife. So you can tell I've only had 1 cup of tea today. I'm not as awake as I should be. Come on, start wriggling it out. So I was initially thinking I might use 2 onions. Based on what we got there, I'm probably going to stick with just the 1 for now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start on potatoes. Now instead of using mash on the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thinly slice them and then layer them up on top like so. And what you can do is you can add flavourings in between each layer and bits of cheese, so you can get a nice sort of thick, flavoursome top. Okay, so what I've gone for is I've gone for some British potatoes, none of that foreign rubbish, and I'm just literally going to very, very finely slice them. And try not to chop my fingers off at the same time. So look, various sort of fine slices I've gone for. Might take a little while. So, oh, come on. Ow. We didn't cut, it's alright. You might catch up in a second. Okay, so I'm just distracting myself from chopping potatoes for a minute and I'm just checking on my mince. So as you can see, that's browning off nicely. I've drained off some of the fat in the background. And what I'm going to do, just to kind of keep it moist and add some flavour, I'm just going to add a little bit of red wine. A little bit more. And that will soup into the mince and that'll give it a nice, juicy flavour. I always find you can never go wrong with beef and red wine. I'm sure it's meant to go in a glass next to your dinner, but they're all the same. It's weekdays. I'm trying not to drink in a week. I'm sure this is cheating, but yeah, we'll see. I'm starting to think I may actually need a bigger chopping board. Okay, so I've finally cut enough potatoes. For what I'm sort of looking at, that should be, I'll say that's more than enough. So we're going to get to the construction stage. Happy days. Before I can start putting things together, what I need to do is I'm going to make like a stock mix to sit in it while it's cooking. So I'm going to add a couple of Oxo Cubes. And another one, so you can see. I'm going to have some Oregano. And some Madras Powder. Not too much though. Just enough to flavour it. So put those in the cell. Kettle's literally just boiled. That should be enough liquid. What I'm I'm going to do is grab a fork and beat that in. And then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour my mince out into another tray, add the mix, and get a layer of potatoes. So I've just frying some mince off the heat. That's pretty much, it's actually cooked through, which makes life really easy now. So I'm going to pour this in. There's a little bit of fat left in there, that can sit in the bottom of this tray while it's cooking, that's fine. That'll stop the mince from drying out too much. So just keep piling in. Okay, let's get out of the back there. So I've got plenty of mince in my tray, so I'm just going to spread it out. I'm just going to pat it down slightly. So I've got a little silicone thing here, so it's got a nice little bit of flex in it. So I can't squish it down too much. Okay. That seems quite compact. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply my stock mix. I'm going to put my first layer of potatoes on. Have a quick stir. Perfect, it's got a nice even coating. And, ow. Try not to hit my head on the extractor fan. Just layer them up as we go. Just gonna overlap them slightly. And go from there. So what I'm also going to do, I'm going to do a single layer down first, and then, do you remember I mentioned I had the German cheese? I'm going to put a little bit of cheese over top in the middle, and as it cooks that can sit and seep between the potatoes and hold them all together. I actually can't wait to eat this later. Okay, so let's put a bit of cheese in, just put a couple bits in there, so. And then I'm literally just going to keep layering the potatoes up and doing exactly the same. Okay, so I've now laid it up to the sense of, well, it's overflowing a little bit with potatoes. Now, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the onion and I'm going to stuff it just around the edges and just poke a bit down the side. And what that's going to do is going to infuse the flavour into it. Some people like to put this in the middle and mix it with the mince. I think that's overrated. And I forgot. But I think that's overrated. So I'm just going to put it down the side here. And it should do exactly the same job. So there we go. What I've done is, I can see I've scattered the onion around the top, and I've added a bit in the top there just for a bit of flavouring. Now, before it goes in the oven, I'm just going to put a little dash of oil on the top. So I'll keep the potatoes moist on the inside and it should crisp on top. And now, I'm actually going to put it in the oven in a couple of hours' time. I'll recap on the video then. However, it's going to go in for probably about 40 minutes, about 170 degrees, and that should be delicious. And there we have it. There is the finished cottage pie. Now, so what I've done is gone for mince, onion, sliced for potatoes, bit of Madras, bit of oregano, lots of red wine, and Oxo Cubes. That simple. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let that cool down a second. I'm then going to slob out, upload these videos, and I'm going to tuck in. So, I'll see you next time.